Okay, here we go, everybody. The final week of content classes before the final exam. Couple of weeks left in the semester. So let's jump right into chapter 12 from the Stu Kent book, which is mobile marketing. We can see here, guys, our schedule. We're in week 12 here, looking at chapter 12, which is mobile marketing. Don't forget to do the quiz and simulation round 6. Next week, I'll be putting out a review for the final exam, so keep an eye out for that. Also, you'll want to have ASO 1.2 completed by next week as well. Just having a look at a couple of the objectives here, guys. We want to look at key factors that differentiate mobile users. So what's the difference between a mobile user and a desktop user? We want to determine some opportunities for targeting mobile users, and then we want to discuss mobile app design and best practices there. So a couple of questions to think about in this chapter. Do we think mobile technology is a pro or a con to our society at large? Is it actually helping us? Are we evolving and adapting to the technology well, or is it a big problem for us at the moment? We see in several places social media being banned. So what do we think about mobile technology and mobile phones? Have you ever, there's another question related to this. Have you missed a moment due to navigating on a mobile camera? So at a concert or an event, and you're getting your phone out to actually take a video of something, and then you actually miss the moment specifically because you're doing that. What about using your phone when you're with others? Are you constantly distracted by your phone? We could look at that as an issue as well. Do you think you could spend the day without your phone? Interesting. I think most people would say no there. And then is there anything with our mobile phones that affecting our brains? We'll have a look at that in this class as well here. So just quickly to look at our definition of mobile devices, any type of portable internet connected device. So could be a phone, could be a tablet, could be a media player, could be a portable game console. And then we've got a couple of channels that we can use through these devices. So SMS, short message service. Don't forget the stop codes that would go into that as well, including things like stop and help. If we are getting messages from different companies that are targeting us, often they will come with these short codes, basically to help us respond to those. We've got multimedia service, so we could be sending videos, images, links and games, things like that through the phones as well. We've got obviously push notifications that come through apps, instant messaging, social media. You've got brand apps that'll send you push notifications as well. So we're getting lots of messaging through that way as well. Then we've also got something that we're going to talk about today, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth messaging that could be location-based. So we're going to talk about geofencing, which is a location-based notification system. We've got online ads that we see on different websites. We already talked about display ads, search ads, all of those different types of ads that'll pop up on different websites that we're on. And of course, we're also using our phone when we're scanning QR codes to take us to various areas and give us various information. So there is a whole lot more that we can do with our mobiles, guys, in terms of the functions that they have, which allow us to market to people. Oh, and of course, we forgot the personal assistants that are on there, asking questions to Siri and Cortana, Bixby on Samsung as well. So there's lots of different personal assistants available there. Okay, so the one thing we might think about when we are actually thinking about how we strategize our marketing with mobiles is what are the 4 reasons that people actually take their phones out of their pocket? Like if we wanted to summarize those into 4 different points, the reasons that people actually take their phones out of their pocket, what do we think that might be? So just have a quick think about that for a second. You could pause it if you want to think longer, and we will jump into the answer. So what can you do for me right now? So this is when people are bored, maybe what they're doing is on a pause. You're watching TV and somebody goes to the bathroom, for example. You pull your phone out of your pocket and you say, what can you do for me right now? What information can you show me as of right now? Second one is let me check. This is for, our Google searches, our ChatGPTs, our AI assistants. how do we confirm or verify a piece of information? Videos are obviously massive, guys, when we think about platforms like TikTok and Instagram, being sent videos, being shared videos, just scrolling through different stories and reels. Videos are very, very, very addictive. So it's an excellent way we could strategize marketing there as well. And then, of course, guys, location is another thing that we use our phones for. Where is a restaurant near me? Give me directions to this location. Show me the way, for example. So there's lots of ways that we use location on our phones as well. We've seen that as part of the Google algorithm as well. So location, pretty important there as well. Okay, let's talk about, is mobile technology affecting our brain? We've got a quick video that we'll watch here, guys, and we'll see if mobile technology is actually affecting us.
Message from Trace Dominguez, everyone. Thanks for swiping right on DNews. According to the Pew Research Center on Internet Science and Technology, only 35% of Americans texted at all in 2006. Then in 2015, Pew reported 100% of 18 to 29-year-olds text. Duh. But 92% of people over 50 also text. That's a lot of people doing something that didn't even exist a little over 10 years ago. It took 80 years, from 1900 to 1980, for cars to get anywhere close to those numbers. So when something like this takes over so quickly, scientists have to struggle to catch up to how it's affecting us. For example, a new study in epilepsy and behavior found that when some people text, either on a phone or a tablet, a whole new brainwave appears. In fact, the researchers said they'd never seen anything like this. This brainwave is unique. When a brainwave changes, it's usually because the brain activity is changing. Think of it like the flashing light on your computer. Different patterns can show different things, and this one is new. Researchers aren't exactly sure what this new wave means, but they think it shows that the brain is using emotion, attention, motor skills, and auditory verbal activity all together. Funnily enough, this only shows up when texting on smaller screens, indicating yet again, quote, people shouldn't text and drive because texting changes how the brain is functioning. And some of those changes are for the better. For example, in 2009, a study in bioelectromagnetics found kids who texted had faster response times on computer tests, but were less accurate in their responses. In fact, kids who used mobile phones in general had poorer working memory, but had faster learning for simple and associative memory tasks. And another small study from a 2011 British Journal of Psychology argues that kids who use abbreviation while texting tend to use fewer as they get older and more educated, and their spelling scores are better than those who didn't text at all. Yet another study then says that skilled texting also leads to better spelling. There's even a really weird study that shows that our brains are forming stronger connections to our thumbs because of texting. According to their results in the journal Cell, smartphone users who text had more sensitive touch on the end of their thumb than people who didn't. More phone use, better perception. So strange. Of course, there are also negatives. Multitasking is not real. Our brains cannot multitask. We can only serial task. We can pause this thing and then, hang on. And then come back to it. But that back and forth, it takes a lot more effort than just finishing the first thing. You might be arguing with me in the comments already, but that's because you're probably overconfident, sensation-seeking, and impulsive, which is what the researchers said. People, multitasking isn't a thing. In fact, neuroscientist Daniel J. Levitin writes even trying to multitask increases the stress hormone cortisol and releases adrenaline, causing scrambled thinking and mental fog after a while. This happens because your prefrontal cortex has to stop what it's doing, burn some energy to save your spot, then pick up a second task. It can do this quickly, which is why you think you're doing it simultaneously, but you're not. Plus, you have to decide to answer a text, causing decision fatigue. And a study in computers and human behavior found people who think they can multitask spend more time studying to make up for that switching cost and do poorer in school overall. Texting is changing how our brains work and how we interact with our own bodies, each other, our environment, and how we learn and see the world. It's a massively influential tool, but like any tool, learning how and when you use it is probably more important. Hang on, to answer this.
Okay, there we have it, guys. A couple of interesting pieces of study coming out around how mobile technology is affecting our brain. The one thing I think we can take away there is the distraction that a phone can cause. Often that is with notifications coming in. So I'm sure there's lots of policy and regulation coming around, how we deal with that when you think about driving, you think about socializing, all of the different areas where mobiles create a distraction. But the question for us is how does it influence us as digital marketers, right? So let's jump a bit further in here and have a look at the advantages and disadvantages of mobile devices and how it affects purchasing. So if we can have a quick think about that, guys, the advantages and disadvantages of mobile devices. Now let's have a look here. When we're thinking about a mobile device, guys, it's personal. We've got it with us all the time. It's always on. We very rarely turn it off, like we would turn off a TV, for example. It has built-in payment systems, so we can pay directly from our phone. And it gives us a very accurate audience measurement. So the metrics that we're taking from that phone is going to be very precise, especially when we're thinking about location services and things like that. So people go back and forth about whether they want to have those on or not. The one thing is we might get less information from it compared to something like a social media platform. The phone's not going to keep all of that information. People might be slow typers, so they might take a long time. We had a thing in the past, guys, called fat finger clicking. And people actually tried to take advantage of this from a digital marketing perspective. When people were trying to press smaller buttons, they would accidentally press a different button, the one they didn't want. And then some companies were trying to take advantage of that by putting their links right next to other important buttons and then making the buttons small. Obviously, guys, over time that was shown not to actually work very well, and it just actually frustrated people more than it helped them. Phone's going to have a slower processor than a desktop, of course, but with the power of some phones these days, it's getting closer and closer. And then potentially a slower internet connection, although what we see these days is the optimization of phones to take advantage of internet and just the lesser processing power of a phone in general. One thing, guys, we can see, and we could see it in the video we just watched there, is that the thinking between mobile users and desktop users is actually changing the way people think. So when we're thinking about the customer journey and people considering products, often if they're looking at a product through a mobile, they'll think about the isolated features of a product. So they'll look specifically at the features, whereas a desktop user might look at the bigger picture around the product. So how are they going to use it in the future? Is there going to be any disposal? All of those different things that go into the customer journey. Now, you could probably look at how mobile design is different to desktop design. And in a desktop, you're going to get more information. So you'll see a lot more information on a desktop. It's a bigger space, so you'll have more space to actually be scrolling around and looking at different information, more holistic information. Where a phone, you've just got a smaller screen and you're scrolling essentially feature by feature when you're looking at a product, right? You might have if you're looking for a t-shirt, for example, you might have the sizing, and then you scroll up and it's the colors, and then you scroll up and it's the material components. So you're looking at things in more of an isolated fashion, but it's actually changing the way we actually consider these products and how we think about how we're going to use them. So some of the implications around these unique features. Obviously, we have to consider privacy and permission. If we are taking people's information, we're going to have to respect the privacy laws. We will get instant reaction to it. So, compared to an email, for example, with a text message notification, we might have immediate action happening. So that's something to think about. We want to think about when we're actually communicating, because obviously people have their phones on at nighttime. If we're sending notifications at 4 a.m. in the morning, that's going to annoy people and turn them off. people will use their payment systems through their phones to actually purchase things. So that's something else we have to consider. Are we making it easy to actually check out on the phone? And then the other thing is interactivity. We have our phones on us all the time, so we can create more interactive campaigns with our customers that actually allow them to use their phones as part of that interactivity. And then the other part is we've got segmented tracking and return on investment tracking. So people using their phones, we're getting lots of information back from that, so we can target people based on things like location, and then we can see how that's actually working and what type of return on investment we're getting there. So one of the big things that we can do with mobiles, guys, is a strategy called geofencing. So this is essentially creating a fenced area around a specific store or location or event, wherein you can use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or straight from your actual messaging service to send notifications to people's phones based on where they're actually at. So if they're within a radius of a specified location, they're going to get a notification, which could be text, it could be a mobile app, it could be a number of different things on your mobile. So the probability increases that you're going to get some kind of conversion the closer somebody gets into that area. The further away you get from it, the less likely you're going to get a conversion on it. Even if people are close, there's not a huge probability of responding. But remember, guys, we're talking about conversion rates in the 1-3% range, so it's going to be low regardless. But it is great if you are targeting as part of a store campaign. So, for example, if you've got a mall, Orchard Park Mall, for example, and you've got a store in there that people might be walking past, if you can set up a geo-fenced targeting campaign, as people are walking past the store, they might get a notification saying, hey, we're having a sale, come into the store within the next 30 minutes and get 50% off when you buy 2 or more products. Something like that, guys, that we can actually target as people are within proximity to the store. So that's a great way that geofencing can be used. When we think about this in relation to some specific stores, if we are Zara, for example, how are we going to set up this geofencing strategy if we are Zara? So who are we actually looking for in terms of the demographics? Men, women, what age range, income brackets, things like that in terms of demographics. Interests, is fashion going to be one of the interests that we are looking at? Or sports? Obviously we wouldn't target sports, we might target fashion. The geo fence, so where are we actually setting it up? Are we setting it up a kilometer outside of Zara? Is it 10 kilometers outside of Zara? Where are people actually going to see that notification in terms of where they're actually at for their location? What's the shopping context? So this is in relation to why are they actually shopping? Are they with a group of friends? Are they by themselves? Are they looking for something specific? That's also connected to their trajectory. Like, are they going directly to a store or are they just browsing around? What's their actual goal for being near Zara or in a mall, for example? So that gives us a bit of context and trajectory, and that can help us set up our geofences. Similar thing here, guys, for Lowe's. Again, what would be our demographics? Probably slightly different to Zara. Interests are going to be different. Lowe's is usually, it's going to be a freestanding store like Rona or Home Depot. A freestanding store. So how are we going to target there? We're going to target as soon as people get into the car park. If they're in the car park, are they already coming to Lowe's? So we've got to think about our location in relation to this store. Maybe it's just driving along the highway and they might get a notification. And then again, if they're driving, probably not a great time to get a notification. And again, guys, shopping context. What are they shopping for? Who are they shopping with? Why are they shopping is more of the trajectory there as well. So think about all of these things for geofencing, guys, if we are actually setting it up outside a store. Okay, let's jump into mobile apps and the design of these mobile apps, because I mean, we do have AI coming in and taking over a lot of the coding, so it is getting a lot cheaper to produce apps. But if you're setting up a wide-ranging, complex app, in the past it could cost up to $1 million to actually set up that app. So, any one of these apps here are going to take a lot of money to actually set up. However, you can get much cheaper apps set up now through different countries and also through AI. So what about these apps down below? What do they actually offer? What's the value of them? When we're thinking about something like Temu, it's the shopping experience that we're actually looking for. Is it easy to find products? Is it easy to search by brand or search by function or feature? When we're thinking about Tinder, we're probably thinking about notifications. Are we going to get notified if someone is swiping on us? If we're thinking about an app like Angry Birds, it's the playability of that app. Are we able to easily play that game? And then all of the rewards and different parts that play into that game as well. So 3 different types of apps here, guys, completely different functions and features that have different goals and objectives for them. So when we're actually designing our apps, we have to think about what we're actually going for. And just as we mentioned there, sufficient resources because they can be expensive. The second part is when people are thinking about whether they should download an app, you need a compelling reason. So for something like Temu, it might be like, oh, I can't find something on Amazon or I want something cheaper. Where am I going to be able to get that? Okay, I've heard that the Temu app has this product that I want. I'll download the Temu app so I can get that. So that's a compelling reason to actually download it. Tinder might be that you're looking for a date. Angry Birds, it might be that you're bored, but you need some kind of reason to actually install this app. So there's got to be something that you are offering people that they will actually go to the effort of downloading. Could be an occasion as well, right? So you could be getting a date. Could be you're having a party and you need party supplies. So some reason, guys, that could be occasion based as well. Okay, let's have a think about the Disneyland mobile app. This actually already exists, of course, but if we're setting up an app for people to go to Disneyland, what types of features and functions might be good for this app to have? What do we think? Let's just have a quick think about that. We can pause here. So we might think, guys, we might need an interactive map. We might need to see the wait times for attractions. The hours, of course, are going to be important. Height restrictions, restaurant information and reservation scheduling, planning a schedule, a fast pass for tickets, ride pictures, somewhere you could download the pictures from different rides, ticket prices, actually buying those tickets, vacation packages. So guys, we could see all of the different functions and features that this one could have that could actually help Disneyland sell products or maximize their conversions when people are actually visiting the park or are about to visit the park. So this is just a little activity, guys. I want you to think about how you would design your screen layout. Should it have one particular activity or information or capability? Should it display menu options? And what should be tucked away or what should be in the hamburger menu? So here's a couple of examples, guys, of the Disneyland screens. We can see we've got this map here, which has got the wait times here. So that's part of the attractions part here. We've got the park info and entry over here. It's giving you the ability to sign in to manage all of your different areas. Then we've got our hamburger menu here, which has got a lot of these different functions and features that we just talked about. So it's clean and simple. It's nicely synced. It's congruent, but they still have all of these features and functions in here. This is quite a complex app, guys, so it would have cost quite a bit of money to set this up and to actually get it looking clean and crisp and easy to navigate is actually going to be a pretty tricky option. Again, guys, we've got a couple of other options here. We've obviously got the search option, so you can search for what you're looking for. You've got your own account menu here, photos, food orders, tickets, so you can manage all of your personal stuff. And then you've got a menu here that's sort of more connected around actions that you can take. So Disneyland, guys, this is a really good example of a really well-designed mobile app that targets lots of different segments, lots of different types of customers, and provides lots of different functions and features as well. Okay, that's all for mobile marketing, guys. Make sure you look through the slides, make sure you do the quiz, and finish off the last round of the simulation. And I will see you next week.